Everyone is talking about Germany's 7 goals. Everyone is talking about Jamal Musiala. Everyone is talking about Kai Havertz. But almost nobody is talking about the one moment that should worry German fans the most. Because hidden inside that dominant 7-1 victory over Curaçao was a warning, a weakness, a vulnerability. And now Germany face an Ivory Coast team filled with pace, confidence, and players capable of turning one mistake into disaster. So what if Germany's biggest win of the World Cup becomes the reason they're in danger? And what if the most exciting player in this match isn't wearing a German shirt at all? Let's break it down. Germany enter this match looking like one of the strongest teams in the tournament. A 7-1 victory sends a message, but context matters. Curaçao were making their World Cup debut. The talent gap was enormous. The pressure was minimal. And despite scoring 7 goals, Germany still conceded. That matters because it continues a worrying trend. Germany have now conceded in 4 of their last 5 matches. Even more surprising, they haven't kept a clean sheet in a World Cup match since defeating Argentina in the 2014 final. Think about that. One of football's traditional defensive powerhouses has spent more than a decade struggling to shut teams out on the biggest stage. Yet offensively, they're terrifying. Julian Nagelsmann has built a team overflowing with creativity. Kai Havertz, Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, Leroy Sané. Everywhere you look, there are players capable of changing a game in seconds. Germany are also riding a 10-match winning streak. Confidence is high, momentum is high, belief is growing, and after failing to qualify from the group stage in both 2018 and 2022, this team is desperate to prove Germany are truly back among football's elite. But here's where things get interesting, because Ivory Coast arrive with their own story. A story most fans aren't paying enough attention to. They beat Ecuador 1-0 in their opening match. At first glance, that doesn't sound particularly impressive, until you realize Ecuador entered the tournament on a 19-match unbeaten run, and Ivory Coast ended it. The winning goal came in the 90th minute. Amad Diallo stepped up and delivered when the pressure was highest. Those are the moments that build belief. Those are the moments that make underdogs dangerous. And unlike Germany, Ivory Coast know nobody expects them to win this game. That freedom can be powerful, very powerful. Here's the part nobody wants to discuss. Germany scored 7, but they also revealed exactly how teams can hurt them. Midway through the first half against Curaçao, Germany's defensive line pushed high. The spacing wasn't perfect, the transition defense was slow, and Curaçao punished them. Suddenly it was 1-1. For a brief moment, Germany looked vulnerable. Most viewers forgot about it because Germany eventually exploded offensively. But coaches don't forget those moments, analysts don't forget those moments, and Ivory Coast certainly won't forget those moments, because they possess exactly the type of players who thrive against high defensive lines. Players who love attacking open space, players who love transition football, players who only need one opportunity, and that's where this match becomes fascinating. Because Germany's greatest strength could also become their greatest risk. On paper, Germany should dominate possession. Expect them to have the ball for long stretches, expect them to push their fullbacks forward, expect Musiala and Wirtz to drift between the lines, searching for pockets of space. That's how Nagelsmann wants his team to play. Aggressive, creative, attacking. But every tactical system creates trade-offs. And Germany's trade-off is obvious. When they commit numbers forward, they leave space behind. Lots of space. Now imagine facing a team that specializes in exploiting exactly that. That's Ivory Coast. Immerse Phase team may not enjoy 70% possession. They don't need it. What they need is one turnover, one misplaced pass, one defensive mistake. Then suddenly, players like Yan Diomande and Amad Diallo are sprinting directly at Germany's backline. And that's a terrifying thought for German supporters. Because pace is one thing. Pace combined with confidence is something else entirely. Ivory Coast have won 4 consecutive matches. They recently defeated France. Now they've beaten Ecuador. Belief is growing. And confident teams become increasingly dangerous, especially in tournaments. Everyone talks about goals. Everyone talks about attackers. But World Cup matches are often decided somewhere else. The midfield. This battle might determine everything. Germany are expected to deploy Pavlovic and Felix and Mecha as their double pivot. Their job sounds simple. Control possession, progress the ball, protect the defense. In reality, it's incredibly difficult, because standing across from them is one of Africa's most physically dominant midfield units. Frank Kessie, Seko Fofana, experience, power, leadership, aggression. These aren't midfielders who sit back and watch. These are midfielders who impose themselves. If Germany dominate midfield, their attackers will flourish. If Ivory Coast disrupt that rhythm, suddenly Germany's creative stars become isolated. And once that happens, the game becomes unpredictable. Very unpredictable. Let's talk about Kai Havertz. Few players arrive in better form. Against Curaçao, he scored twice, but his importance goes beyond goals. His movement creates chaos, his intelligence creates space, and defenders constantly struggle to decide whether to follow him or hold their position. That uncertainty opens opportunities for Musiala and Wirtz. What's even more impressive is his consistency in major tournaments. He has now scored at 4 consecutive major international competitions. That isn't luck. That's elite tournament mentality. Germany need him. Because against stronger opposition, chances become harder to create. And when those moments arrive, someone has to finish them. Havertz is increasingly becoming that player. But here's the question. Can Ivory Coast stop him, or at least limit him? Because completely stopping him might be impossible. Now let's discuss the player casual fans may not know yet, but they soon will. Yan Diomande. Against Ecuador, he produced one of the most complete performances we've seen at this World Cup. 5 chances created, 5 tackles won, 11 duels won, 12 touches inside the opposition box. Read those numbers again. He wasn't just attacking, he wasn't just defending, he was doing everything, creating, pressing, recovering, driving forward. At just 19 years old, he's already performing like a seasoned international. And now he faces Germany. This is the stage where stars are born. This is the stage where careers change forever. One great performance against Germany, and suddenly the entire football world is talking about him. The opportunity couldn't be bigger. Then there's Amad Diallo. Germany should be extremely worried about him. Not because of what he did against Ecuador, but because of what he's becoming. Since October, no Ivory Coast player has scored more international goals. His confidence is growing every month, and perhaps most importantly, he delivers in decisive moments. The winner against Ecuador wasn't just a goal, it was proof. Proof that he can handle pressure. Proof that he can change matches. Proof that he belongs on this stage. And if Germany's defensive line gets stretched, Diallo may become their biggest problem. Everyone expects Germany's attackers to shine. But what about Germany's defenders? Joshua Kimmich, Jonathan Tah, Nico Schlotterbeck, Nathaniel Brown. They may ultimately decide whether Germany win or lose. Because Ivory Coast don't need 20 chances. They only need 2 or 3. The real question isn't whether Germany will create opportunities. They will. The question is whether they can survive the moments when possession is lost. Those few seconds after turnovers. Those few seconds where structure disappears. Those few seconds where matches are won and lost. Watch those moments carefully. They may decide everything. Germany score early. Ivory Coast are forced to chase. Musiala and Wirtz find space. Havertz continues his scoring streak. Germany win comfortably, something like 3-0 or 4-1. Germany dominate possession, but fail to finish. Then Diomande or Diallo exploit space in transition. Suddenly Germany are chasing the game. Pressure rises, mistakes increase, and the underdogs smell opportunity. This becomes far closer than people expect. Germany create more chances, Germany control possession, but Ivory Coast create dangerous moments. The game remains alive deep into the second half. 1 goal separates the teams, possibly 2, nothing more. But let's pause for a second. What if Germany aren't quite as dominant as everyone believes? Think about it. The 7-goal victory created headlines. The 10-game winning streak created confidence. The attacking talent created excitement. But what happens when Germany finally face a team capable of matching their athleticism? A team capable of punishing mistakes? A team playing with nothing to lose? That's the question nobody can answer yet. And that's why this match matters so much. Because for the first time at this World Cup, Germany faced genuine resistance. Not a debutante, not an outsider, a serious opponent. The stakes extend far beyond 90 minutes. If Germany win, they likely seize complete control of Group E. Qualification becomes almost certain. Momentum grows. Belief grows. And suddenly people start discussing them as genuine World Cup contenders. But if Ivory Coast avoid defeat, everything changes. The group becomes chaotic. Pressure shifts. Expectations change, and Germany's weaknesses become a major talking point. That's why this isn't just another group stage game. It's a statement match, a measuring stick match, a match that reveals who these teams truly are. Germany have the stars, Germany have the history, Germany have the momentum, but football has never been won on paper. And sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the strongest team. It's the team nobody expects. So when Germany walk onto the pitch expecting another comfortable night, they should remember one thing. The most important moment from their 7-1 victory wasn't one of the 7 goals they scored, it was the goal they conceded. Because that single moment may have given Ivory Coast the blueprint. The blueprint to shock Group E. The blueprint to create one of the biggest upsets of the World Cup. The question is, will Germany learn from that warning, or will Ivory Coast be the team that exposes it? We're about to find out.